Hello and welcome to TTV News with some latest events in the province. Ladies and gentlemen, in the morning of May 11, the National Steering Committee Against Smuggling, Commercial Frauds and Counterfeit Goods, refers to as the National Steering Committee 389, have the briefing sessions for the first quarter meetings chaired by Deputy Prime Minister Trần Lưu Quang, heads of the National Steering Committee, to summarize the peak plans before, during and after the Lunar New Year 2023 in an online forum. Attending pre-boys there were Mr. Nguyễn Thành Ngọc, chairman of the Provincial People's Committee.
In the first quarter of 2023, although it did not detect hotspot of buying, selling and transporting banned goods, smuggling, commercial fraud and counterfeit goods, the developments have become more complicated. The functional forces arrested and handled over 28,000 violations, in which mainly the sale and transportation of banned and smuggled goods, commercial fraud, tax fraud, intellectual property violations, etc. Thereby, administrative violations were sanctioned, and the state budget collected and paid nearly 3,400 billion Vietnam dong, an increase of over 75% compared to the same period in 2022. 278 cases out of 679 subjects under criminal prosecution. Within the framework of the conference, the Steering Committee re-89 of localities across the country had many opinions on difficulties and problems, as well as recommendations and proposed solutions to further improve the efficiency of the prevention and fighting against smuggling.
In the afternoon of May 11, the delegation of the National Agencies of Cryptography and Information Security, led by Mr. Nguyễn Hữu Hùng, Deputy Head of the agencies, had a working sessions with TayNinhTV Province on cryptography, information security and safety. Mr. Nguyễn Mạnh Hùng, Deputy Secretary of the Provincial Party Committee, and leaders of the agency, units and locality that use cryptography in the area, welcome and work with the delegation.
Over the past time, party committees, organizations, agencies, and units in the province have promptly led and directed to well implement the central government's resolutions, directives, and programs on building and developing of cyber sector in the locality, meeting the requirements of national construction and defense in the new period. Confidentiality, information safety insurance, network security has been ensured, cryptographic technical system has been deployed and used promptly and smoothly, organized the management, exploitation and use of cryptographic equipment and documents which are granted to be safe, with strict processes in accordance with the principles and regulations of the sector. At the meeting, the leaders of TayNinhTV Province suggested that the delegation should formulate and issue a project on key job positions at all levels, creating conditions to build a cyber force in the province to meet the requirements and assign tasks. Speaking at the meeting, Mr. Nguyễn Hữu Hùng suggested that TayNinhTV Provincial Party Committee should continue to lead and direct on levels of party committees, organizations, localities, agencies, and units to thoroughly organize the implementation of the guidelines and policies of the party and the state laws on the cyber field, especially the resolution of the Politburo on the strategy for the development of Vietnam's cyber sector to 2030 and orientation to 2045. There should be a regulation on coordination between the forces to effectively implement this resolution, at the same time creating the participation of the whole political system in the protection of state and national secrets. According to statistics from the Office of the National Assembly Delegation and the Provincial People's Council, from the beginning of 2021-2026 term until now, the Provincial People's Committee and provincial departments have been implementing the recommendations of the Provincial People's Council, the Standing Committee of the Provincial People's Council. The Professional Committee of the Provincial People's Council is quite serious, with a rate of 97%. stemming from the local reality from the beginning of 2021-2026 term to the end of January 2023. The Provincial Council and agencies under its management conducted 15 thematic supervision and re-explanation sessions to assess the results of law enforcement by authorities in many fields. Thereby, there were timely suggestions and appropriate recommendations contribute to solving difficulties and correcting the shortcomings. The topics of supervision and explanation are selected in accordance with the actual situation of the locality and are also issues interested by voters and delegates. The Provincial People's Council and agencies under its management have issued a total of 140 recommendations to the Provincial Appeals Committee and relevant departments and agencies, in which the rate of recommendations that have been and are being implemented by departments and sectors is over 97%. Proportion of petitions that have not been implemented or reported accounted for nearly 3%. The Office of the National Assembly Delegation and the Provincial Appeals Council proposed that for agencies and units to implement the proposal late or the remedial measures are not satisfactory, the Standing Committee of the Provincial Appeals Council should consider to include them in the group of questions at the meeting to submit to the Provincial Appeals Council.
In the morning of May 11 in Thủ Dầu Một City, Bình Dương Province, the Central Propaganda and Training Departments, in collaboration with the Ministry of Information and Communications, the Vietnam Journalists Association and the Vietnam Publishers Association, have a convened to draft rulings implementing 4 new regulations of the Secretariat of the Party Central Committee. The 13th term of building a plan to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Vietnam Revolutionary Rest Day, chaired by Secretary of the Party Central Committee, Head of the Central Propaganda Department, Mr. Nguyễn Trọng Nghĩa, Mr. Nguyễn Quang Thắng, Deputy Head of the Propaganda Departments of the Provincial Party Committee, represented TayNinhTV Province to attend the conference.
At the conference, the reporters presented the basic and core contents of the new regulations of the Secretariat of the Party Central Committee and the draft project to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Vietnam Revolutionary Rest Day. These are on very important contents directly and closely related to the daily advisory, direction and organization of the party committees, authorities, organizations and mass organizations. Speaking at the conference, Mr. Nguyễn Trọng Nghĩa asked on levels of party committees, propaganda and training departments of provincial party committees, city party committees, and rest agencies to be fully and profoundly aware the meaning and importance of organizing and implementing the regulations of the Secretariat on the plan to organize 100 years of Vietnam Revolutionary Rest Day in practice. He also emphasized that the 100th anniversary is an important career political event of our country's revolutionary rest. Therefore, it is necessary to develop a scheme to organize commemorative activities in a methodical, solemn, and meaningful way, contributing to building an increasingly professional, human, and modern press and media in the country as the spirit of the document of the 13th Party Congress. In the morning of May 11, in Tây Ninh, Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development Phùng Đức Tiến, together with the Vice Chairman of the Provincial Appeals Committee Trần Văn Chiến, co-chaired the conference to deploy the construction of safe livestock chains and zones against diseases. The conference was attended by leaders of some southern provinces and cities, leaders of the relevant departments and sectors. According to a report to the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, from the beginning of 2023 to now, there have been 7 outbreaks of avian influenza A, H5N1 in 5 provinces and cities nationwide. The total number of infected, dead, and destroyed poultry is more than 9,600. The disease occurs mainly in small livestock households which have not been fully vaccinated, particularly in TayNinhTV, in order to limit and prevent diseases in general and avian influenza in particular. The province has implemented the livestock development strategy. This conference aims to promote the construction of trans, especially disease-free breeding areas, to ensure that the export requirements for animals and animal products are met. Conference participants exchanged and discussed contents related to the development of poultry production, the construction of safe trains against diseases, cooperation in building epidemic-free trains and zones. In the last term, with the attention of the Provincial Party Committee, People's Council, People's Committee, Vietnam Father Front Committee, the cooperation of departments, agencies, and sponsors, the Association of Victims of Agent Orange Dioxin in the province has implemented many meaningful activities towards Agent Orange Dioxin victims in the province, such as building houses of affection, providing livelihood capital, scholarship support, monthly foster care allowance, free medical examination and treatment, etc., with a total amount of more than 38 billion Vietnam dong. Speaking at the 5th Congress of Association, Deputy Secretary of the Provincial Party Committee Nguyễn Mạnh Hùng acknowledged and appreciated the outstanding results achieved by the Provincial Association in the past term. At the same time, it is proposed that the Executive Committee of the new term should continue to pay attention to and promptly and fully implement the policies of the party and state, helping Agent Orange Dioxin victims to integrate into the community, increase mobilization of resources to care for the victims.
Ladies and gentlemen, people in Bố Lớn, Hamlet, Hòa Hội, Cam Miêu, Châu Thành districts, especially Khmer women, often refer to Miss Keok. She is a typical example of dynamism, creativity, and enthusiasm in the work of the local women's union, especially studying and following Uncle her from the simplest things.
Born in 1968, having joined the local women's union since 2004, Miss Keok and her family have always well complied with the party's guidelines and policies and the state laws and policies, participating fully in branch activities. She raised her awareness level by reading propaganda materials, etc. Being aware that she is a citizen, as a member of women, her role and responsibilities in the family and society are very important. She sets an example herself first, then mobilizes the others in the hamlet to follow together. In training, study, and following Ho Chi Minh's ideology, morality, and style, she does the smallest thing in her daily life, such as keeping the house clean, mobilizing the women in the hamlet. Must not be unsanitary before and in the housing area. Enthusiastically join hands to build a new countryside. The present hamlet has strengthened a lot compared to the past. The road in the hamlet has been paved, making travel extremely convenient. Solar lighting systems were also installed, contributing to maintaining local security and order. These achievements are also thanks in part to the contributions of Miss Keok and other people. I clean my house, gather plastic bag and burn it to avoid causing the pollution for environment. Don't let any mosquito using the basket to go to the market and save the money in piggy bank. In the work of the Women's Union in the locality, Miss Keok and the Women's Union of Communes and Hamlets actively mobilize women to participate in the implementation of the women's movement, actively studying, working creatively, and building happy families. Mobilize women to carry out the campaign to build a family of final and clean. Associated with building a new countryside, regularly pay attention to and visit disadvantaged families in the hamlet, helping sisters from material to spiritual aspects. Ms. Georg diligently participates in meetings of the association as well as social work. She is very active, arranges a time to join the women in the hamlet. Her house is neat, clean and tidy. Studying the moral example of Ho Chi Minh, she is diligent, industrious and fully participates in the training courses. She often mobilizes the women in the hamlet to implement the piggy bank raising program and implement the rotational and capital contribution program by health insurance, help people in the hamlet to be more developed, access to capital to build a happier family life. Besides, in daily life, she shares with ethnic minority women about their rights and benefits when participating in voluntary health insurance and social insurance, thereby mobilizing 100% of ethnic minorities to participate in health insurance. According to households stated, the locality can meet the criteria of health in new rural construction. Ms. Georg is always responsible for the assigned work, doing well in studying and following alcohol. Ms. Georg's work has been recognized and rewarded.
That's all for today, TTV News. Thank you for being with us and goodbye for now.